Before yesterday, the Sharron Angle media strategy had been flawless. Don't talk to anyone except Fox News Channel. But in our third story, that was before she showed up at a so-called Harry Reid retirement party at a Las Vegas restaurant yesterday, where the local news media finally got a chance to ask her some questions. Stoney's North 40 restaurant was the scene of the crime. Nevada's Republican candidate for Senate was on hand to greet well-wishers and do a talk radio interview. For 10 days since coming from behind to beat Sue Loudon in the Republican primary, Angle had successfully held local Nevada media at bay. Instead of speaking with them, Angle came to New York for friendly interviews on the Fox News Channel with Fox and Friends and Sean Hannity. Yesterday, back in Nevada, Angle relented for a brief chat with reporter Nathan Baka of the Las Vegas CBS affiliate KLAS. The first topic for discussion was Angle's position on Social Security, which, taken directly from her campaign website, reads: free market alternatives which offer retirement choices to employees and employers must be developed and offered to those still in their wage-earning years. As the Social Security system is transitioned out, young workers must be encouraged to investigate personal retirement account options. In other words, she would end Social Security, pure and simple. Here is Angle's defense of that position.
Why do you want to eliminate it for younger folks? Because your plan calls for transitioning out.
You have believed the Harry Reid lie.
Your own website says transition out of the program. What does that mean?
Transition into a personalized account.
But ending Social Security as we know it.
A personalized Social Security account that they can't raid.
Stock market, though, almost crashed in 2008. Millions of seniors would have had their savings account.
You're putting words into my mouth from Harry Reid, and I want you to be very clear on this. I'm here to save Social Security. Harry Reid is here
transitioning out of it.
Harry Reid is here to bankrupt Social Security.
We then asked Angle about her quote, calling for the elimination of the Environmental Protection Agency in the midst of the oil spill. Why do you want to eliminate the EPA when we're in our worst environmental disaster in this country?
Where are you getting these questions? The issues are not about the EPA.
But you want to eliminate the EPA, correct?
The issues are homes here in Nevada. He is trying to make this a campaign about me. But where's Harry? Go
but
ask
your own
Harry.
Website calls...
Please go ask Harry about the EPA and why they have failed.
And why you want to eliminate it.
Why they have failed to do what they needed to do in the Gulf.
Angle walked away when we asked about her website once advocating withdrawal from the United Nations. She then gave a 20-minute-long interview to conservative radio talk host Roger Hedgecock. She told the assembled media she'd answer 4 questions, but refused to answer our question about this statement of hers. If this Congress keeps going the way it is, people are really looking towards those Second Amendment remedies.
Thank you so
when
much.
You talk about Mother Anger, what do you mean when you mean Second Amendment remedies?
So, thank you.
Second Amendment remedies, anything? We kept asking into the parking lot, but received no answer. Why won't you answer what Second Amendment remedies means? Nothing at all. It's a simple question.
Dave Weigel is a Washington Post political reporter, and he is the author of the blog Right Now. Dave, you know politics. You've read the Second Amendment. What could she possibly have meant by Second Amendment remedies?
She was teasing out a line of rhetoric that you hear at a lot of tea parties, that things are so bad that we looked wistfully back at the way the Founding Fathers dealt with problems, and that's by rebelling. You know, as this day went on, I talked to the Angle campaign a little bit and got a sense that they realized, instead of just running away from this, if people are going to stick cameras in her face, they should come to a point where this was a metaphor she was using to make it clear she was going a bit over the top. But this is what happens when you talk at tea parties and you talk on that was the Roger Hedgecock show. She talked on the Lars Larson show and said this, and no one would have noticed, but my colleague Greg Sargent found this audio clip. The problem is she keeps going on conservative forums saying things like this, and people like us notice them.
Now, Angle was trying to say that this election is not about me, it's about Harry Reid. It sure was about Harry Reid until the Republican primary went off the rails, and now it seems it is absolutely going to be about Sharron Angle and Social Security as we know it, and all of these issues that she has staked out some very extreme opinions on. Is she going to be able at any point to turn this back to being about Harry Reid?
Well, I think she got a break today with this news that unemployment in Nevada is 14%, and she immediately tried to blame that on Harry Reid. The problem is you can't just, as a candidate, tell the press what they're supposed to cover. And you can't do that, especially if you don't give them access to yourself, and if you turn every question, as you saw in that video, into a aspersion that you're getting talking points from a politician. So I think the Reid campaign had a pretty good week as far as bad economic news goes. As far as the rest of the agenda being bogged down a bit, it wasn't great. But they've really succeeded in making this about Sharron Angle's inability to answer questions. And yeah, they scrambled in the last day because the electorate has a long time to look at both candidates. You can't just tell them that all they're allowed to do is look at the record of the incumbent.
Now, there's no worse image in a political campaign than the candidate literally running away from the camera, refusing to answer questions about things they've already spoken on, not irrelevant things that the reporters are making up. Is this the fate of Tea Party candidates? Is this what Rand Paul and Angle are going to be doing until November? Whenever you get to that, third question that they're uncomfortable, they just start running for the car?
I think there's one worse image you can get, which is getting so angry that you grab the camera or grab the reporter. But this is pretty bad. And yes, they can't do it. I mean, Rand Paul, I think, just benefited from the fact that our news cycle is so busy and Sharron Angle is so much more obvious and curious in her media strategy that we paid a bit less attention. But in the media back home, he keeps getting drilled on the points of his policies, of what he said when he's been speaking to more conservative groups. And on the radio shows he's appeared on, he's talked about how it's all opposition and it's all unfair. These candidates, I think they've really just been talking to their base for so long, for a year for both these candidates, in Tea Parties and forums that made them feel very, very safe, that they're not quite used to talking to the rest of the country. And that's, at every campaign, you win the base over and then you pivot to the middle. But rarely has the base been so dominant as the Republican Party's base has been via the Tea Party movement. Even during a Democratic primary for president, all you need to do is make sure the voters in Iowa and the voters in New Hampshire don't hate you too much. Here, what Sharron Angle and Rand Paul need to do is make sure the most avid out there activists who listen to Glenn Beck hang on their every word and they can't disappoint me. They've been trapped by that.
Dave Weigel of the Washington Post, thank you for hopelessly offering campaign advice to the Tea Party candidates tonight that they cannot possibly follow.
Thank you for that. Have a good night.